in our ever-changing world. From the NewsChannel 5 network, this is Issues of Faith.
Hello everyone, welcome to Issues of Faith. Thank you for being with us. Today we are talking with the new Superintendent of Catholic Schools. Rebecca Hammel is the Superintendent of Schools for the Diocese of Nashville. This covers some 19 schools, some 5,800 students. Happy to have you with us. Thank you, Rebecca Hammel, for being here.
Thank you.
You are very new on the job.
I am.
You don't want to say how many days, but it's less than 10 at this point. As we do this interview, it's less than 10 days on
Correct.
the job.
Right.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
What I want to talk about, specifically with the Diocese of Nashville, but even more broadly for Christian education. I guess as you come on this job, what are some of your top priorities?
First and foremost, we want to take a look at enrollment and marketing strategies so that we can tell the story of the good work that happens in each of our 19 Catholic schools in the Diocese of Nashville. We are eager to get that story out so people understand the real value of having a Catholic education. Secondly, we need to understand how to make or study further how to make the tuition fees more accessible or easily managed by families so that we can bring them into our schools. So enrollment management will be one of our priorities. Always building community and making sure that our Catholic identity remains core of who we are and what we do is top priority.
So what attracted you to this diocese?
Well, I am now a Tennessean for about 14 days and am thrilled to be part of this community. And I really was attracted by the new Bishop Spalding and his new initiatives and just energy toward church. We want to bring in the 19 schools and make sure they're as vibrant as they can possibly be. And Bishop has a wonderful vision for all of this to happen. So that was a big draw for me. Secondly, I'm drawn to the historical perspective of the Catholic education here in the city, started by many of the sisters, and at present the Dominican sisters play a large role in that. So I'm drawn to be part of that and to share in the ministry with them. And I'm just happy to be here in Nashville. I come from Indiana, and to be here in Nashville is a nice change in the culture. Love country music, so I landed in an excellent place.
Yeah, we'll see how much country music you get to see.
Yes.
But you said you're originally from Indiana. You came from Atlanta,
correct,
right?
Yes.
So your background is what that got you to this point?
Well, I have 28 years of experience in Catholic schools, first as a teacher, then as a principal. I served as an assistant superintendent. So I've moved from Indiana, where I got the foundational pieces, to Austin, Texas. I spent a couple years there. I moved then to Atlanta, Georgia, and that's where I was for the last 5 years as Associate Superintendent of Schools for the Archdiocese of Atlanta. And when I saw that the position in Nashville had opened, I knew that I needed to be part of that for the reasons I just mentioned. But also I know the history of the Catholic schools here is very strong as far as the rigor that's offered in the classroom, and I wanted to be part of that. So again, I'm happy to be where I've landed.
So when you talk about you want to many schools across the country are facing marketing and enrollment issues.
Yes.
And that's what you talked about right off the top.
Right.
So it sounds like they're facing issues with enrollment. So what's kind of the history here in Nashville? Mm-hmm. Are we on the way up? Are we leveled off? Have we plateaued? Are we actually declining? Kind of what are you coming into right now here in Nashville?
The trend in the Diocese of Nashville is very similar to that we see with the nation and Catholic schools. If you compare that with private school enrollment, it's very similar. Fortunately, in Nashville, we are not seeing the same decline or the same rate of decline that we see in Catholic schools across the nation, and even in the private sector. But we're working toward that, to turn that around. We really feel like part of the issue is that we're not telling our story well enough, that we are not letting people know we're the best kept secret, truly, because it is a little more affordable than some of the other private schools. And what we're offering encompasses the child's whole body, mind, spirit. And that's something that we want to give every opportunity for the students in Nashville to experience in our buildings.
Why is it more affordable? Do you have schools where if you attend the church, then the school is free, or at least there's a major discount? Why would you say Catholic schools are more affordable than some of the other private schools?
Well, first and foremost, we do charge tuition for each of our 19 school buildings, but the parish schools certainly, for all of our elementaries, which would be 16 in number, certainly help sponsor the funding of the Catholic school there on the property. So the parish and the school do work together to manage the budgets. But we are more affordable because we as a community come together to support Catholic education in that regard. In an independent school, you don't have that same kind of connection. So we're very fortunate in that way that our pastors support the mission. Really, this is a mission of the church, the Catholic Church at large, and we are a subset of that mission. So we are able to take advantage of that relationship between the two.
You have about 5,800 students.
We do.
And as we said, 19 schools. Of the 5,800 students, how many are Catholic? Are most of them coming from parents that attend Catholic Church, or are some of them not? Do you have a sense of that?
I do. We are 82% Catholic throughout all 19 of our schools. What I'm finding out as a newcomer to the area is that this is deeply ingrained in family legacy, if you will. But we are open to non-Catholics alike, and we welcome that. As long as they would like to be part of our mission, then we certainly want to share that with them.
So let's talk to someone out there right now who's not Catholic, and they're considering sending their child to private school, and they come across, okay, should I send them to Catholic school or not?
Right.
I guess, what would you tell that family?
One of my favorite taglines is, we're raising saints and scholars. And so if we think of that in the experience of the child who we believe is made in the image and likeness of Christ, that begins in day one, and that is part of their journey throughout their schooling experience all the way through. So while we are there to ensure they have excellence in their academics, we're there to nurture that moral formation as well, and to aid them in understanding who they are in the eyes of Christ and how they can live that journey out. And you don't have to be Catholic to own that. We are all followers on this journey as a disciple of Christ. So we're very much open to that and feel that our product is certainly something that would appeal to all, because we are, again, on that journey toward heaven.
And so if that family then says, well, the only experience I have with Catholic school is what I've seen in the movies, where there's some nun and she's walking around and she's a little scary, and that's the only thing I know. What do you say there?
Don't believe it. First and foremost, unfortunately, we don't have as many sisters in all of the schools, so we don't even have a sister in each of the schools that of our 19 that we have. You don't have to engage in what we see on TV. We know this. We don't have to believe all that we see in that regard. So as long as a family would like to join us in the mission, that's what we're interested in. We have a lot of families who come to us who have been non-practicing Catholics for a period of time, and when their children are ready to go to school, come back to the faith. And we embrace that with open arms, just as we would embrace anyone who would like to join us in that mission.
And the cost would be another concern.
Right.
So let's say that same family is concerned about the cost.
Right.
What do you say there?
All of our schools offer financial assistance to families who can demonstrate the need. And one of the foundations that we have at the Chancery, their diocesan level, is a foundation for the advancement of Catholic education. And we purposely raise money that can assist the schools in addition to what they offer locally, so that we can too provide financial assistance or support to those families in most need. So we have a lot of boots on the ground in that regard. Our goal is that anyone who would desire a Catholic education gets a Catholic education in one of our 19 schools. So we do a lot of different things to try to make that happen. So we cannot let the price tag, if you will, turn us away without exploring further. Plus, we also know, if we think of this in terms of a return on investment, by the time a lot of our students are graduating high school and looking toward their college, what we've invested in their tuition at the high school level is often paid for in scholarships earned for their college years. So it is a true return on investment, not only financially, but certainly for the soul. Because again, we're helping these children understand their role in light of God, and then moving them toward that path that would eventually lead them to their eternal life in heaven.
And I guess, again, for that family that's out there that's not Catholic and they're thinking they want to send their child to private school, they're just not sure. I guess, how would it be different than, let's pick, another private school in Nashville? And I guess I won't throw out a name, but a more just any other private school. How is Catholic private school different? What would be different in the day-to-day sort of education that child's going to get that they might not get or would not get somewhere else?
Right. Well, I first would want to speak to the culture of the school and the sense of community that we're going to embrace a new family into to share with us. They become part of the family, if you will. What is it literally going to look like? Well, we offer religion courses that we would expect that people coming to us to join us in mission, the students would participate in. So technically that would be one of the first differences, I suppose. I think what families would be drawn to is understanding that we're here to teach you along the way. It's not anything that you would be expected to know up front and practice or exercise. We're here to take people where they are and help them grow in their faith and their journey toward Christ. So we truly are embracing of all who would seek that Catholic education, and we're happy to talk with families about that who would come to us and inquire.
All right, we have to take a break. I want to take a break, come back, and then talk about your vision for the future.
Great, that's great.
The last superintendent was here a long time.
Yes.
So you presumably will be too. So what is your vision for the future? Take a break. Be back right after this.
Thank you.